pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
From Texas Motor Speedway, the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series has come into town, guns a-blazing for an Old West shootout. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Fort Worth, Texas. Jacob Schneider showed everyone who's the boss last week by leading 181 of 200 laps at Martinsville, notching his second win of the 2024 season. Now, as we get ready for a 2-week off period, we're ready to duel it out here in the great state of Texas. So grab some brisket, call a friend, and settle in with an Alamo beer as we present to you the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series right here from Texas Motor Speedway. I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and as always, I'm thrilled to be with you every step of the way. From the green flag to the checkered flag, live on Tuesday Night NASCAR. And folks, glad to have you in with us tonight as qualifying is already underway. Of course, big night here. In fact, most of qualifying kind of wrapped up here. We're going to take a quick peek, though, at Michael Witt in the 88 out of Bristol, Tennessee. Unfortunately, he's an Atlanta Braves fan. Not sure if I can forgive that, but for the time being, it's okay. Speaking of the Atlanta Braves, I want to tip my hat once again thanking Chris Claude for stepping into the broadcast booth last night for My Baby Monday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series action. Of course, Chris was serving a suspension last night, but he is back on track tonight in the number 10 Toyota Tundra. I see right now Chris Claude being timed in 19th position, taking a peek here at Stoney Benfield out of Albemarle, North Carolina, the faster pastor. He's checking in now as we get that qualifying line set up here. Now we can already see Ron Fitting starting out pretty strong. Claude Ferlin right now sitting atop the pile, as right now Ron Fitting would be just about equal. Stoney Benfield goes 20th fastest first lap, and all of a sudden he is quick like a bunny, and he goes 13th fastest. Now Ron Fitting here in the 3. He's just wrapping up that first qualifying effort, or that first qualifying lap. So as he crosses the start-finish line, Ron's going to go 21st. So it looks like everybody kind of testing the metal of these trucks early, because you don't want to, especially on cold tires, get up here too close to the wall. Bad things are going to happen to you up there. We've seen that the last couple of nights as we pull up the race info here and head back on up to our static blimp cam. 94 degrees on the asphalt tonight. That's the coolest temperature that we've seen all week long, as we can see the other Goodyear blimp floating just below us. There's 67 degrees in the stands tonight if you're here in Fort Worth, Texas. And, here's the thing. It's the coolest night of the race week for us. Of course, it's the only night race that we've had. We've had temperatures almost 125, 126 degrees on the asphalt, basically liquefying these tires when they're coming up to temp. So, tonight may be a little bit of a respite, if you will. Of course, 167 laps the scheduled distance tonight as we get ready to turn them loose here at Texas Motor Speedway. Want a chance here to talk with Jacob Schneider, if I do see him. And, of course, Schneider is not in the chat tonight. Never fails. As soon as I want to talk to somebody, they're either not in the chat or not in the race for that evening. And here we are once again, just killing it. So let's see if we can get right back up into here. As there's still a few minutes left, of course, we're going to get a hold of Brandon Minto, driver of the number 12 machine out of Ferta Motorsports. Unless nobody wants to talk to me tonight. Hey, Pastor, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
I sure do, Dave. How you doing tonight, bud?
I'm good. I am blessed. And, I'm sitting here and I was looking for your teammate, and he wasn't around tonight. Everyone I was looking for, it seems like a pretty light field tonight. How does that make you feel getting ready to rock and roll here at Texas?
Well, I'm just going to be by myself here in the Discord, and just I got a race strategy I want to try to implement, and we'll see what happens. Long race tonight.
Yeah, 167 laps now. We've seen some crazy track temperatures the last couple of nights, as I was talking to the fans about here. We've seen in excess of 125 degrees. Tonight, you're way down here to 94. So how does that actually? It just dropped to 70 degrees since qualifying has begun. So obviously a lot of grip in the racetrack. How does that feel underneath the F-150?
Well, based on what the track temperature is, will really determine what setup I use. So when we get close, if the temperature is over 100, I've got a particular setup. If it's under 100, I've got another setup. So, track temperature is vital with tire wear and grip. And so, we're just going to wait and see what this temperature does here.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, good luck tonight. It looks like you're going to be rolling off 16th position. Just a couple more drivers haven't gone out there, Gangler being one of them. He's out now. So good luck tonight. And, hey, listen, we'll keep an eye out for you toward the front.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, sirs. We're going to drop on back down here. It's been a busy night here in the broadcast booth. Of course, it's one of the few nights that I work alone at this point. And, it's interesting to see some of these drivers that do wind up carrying themselves over 3 nights of racing in this league. I mean, that's not easy, as we've got about 1 minute and 45 seconds left here in qualifying. Going to get a hold of Ethan Eckert. Hey, Ethan, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I do got ya.
Listen, strong finish last week. Here we are, once again at Texas Motor Speedway, 1.5 miles before we go to the Super Speedway. How are you feeling rolling in with the momentum from last week and then, of course, starting off this week?
Well, Texas ain't one of my best tracks, that's for sure. But then again, I also didn't think Bristol was one of my best tracks, and I won that. So, I don't know. I think my chances aren't too bad. I'm fast in the truck, which, yeah.
I mean, quite frankly, you're fast just about everywhere. It's a matter of, reining in that excitement that you get when you're going down the backstretch, cutting through 2 or 3 drivers. These trucks are probably the most stable thing that we have on the iRacing.com service, here in the top 3 levels of NASCAR. What's going to be your secret to boogieing around this 1.5 miles tonight?
Well, I don't want to wreck anybody. That's number 1. Number 2 is just try to save tires and have fun.
All right, man. Well, good luck tonight. It looks like you're going to be rolling off 8th tonight. So, listen, it's going to be an interesting start for you. So, good luck the rest of the way, and maybe we'll see you on the other side.
Awesome. Thank you.
That, of course, the voice of Ethan Eckert, driver of the number 11. So, we're going to send him back on up here into the Joe Gibbs Racing stable. Kind of a quiet night here as we get started. Looks like we have a new driver, Ryan Fisher, coming in tonight. So we'll have to get some information on him as the qualifying is complete. Let's get this out of here and that out of here. A little bit of housekeeping. And, of course, the computer thinks that we're at Martinsville, but we're not. Claude Ferlin going to be our pole sitter as these drivers get the warm-up underway. Anthony Savignano going to be starting in 4th. In his debut race from Black Cat Racing, Ryan Fisher in the 04. Sylvain Joly going to be starting in 7th. Mason Hoffner in 6th. Another couple of big names, Matt Mackin in 14th. Gabriel Lafreniere, he's going to be back here in 15th with the 06 Oxmoor F-150. Jamie Beasley going to be starting 18th tonight. So an interesting shuffle up here is, we do have different drivers that just happen to be in this level of racing versus the rest of them. As if I don't get this fixed soon, it's going to drive me completely batty. That'll make me happier. There we go. Texas Motor Speedway. I had to make the computer think that it wasn't what it was doing. Anyway, a couple of other big names here deep in the field. Chris Claude, Kavaja Holt, Alexander Gangler. Now, you got to watch Kavaja because he may be starting back here in 26th position, but he and Gangler have an interesting way, we saw it last night, of getting themselves up to the top of the pile. It looks like all 3 drivers from All Smiles Racing going to be starting deep in the field, 27th, 8th, and 9th. Rich Jet out of Schwanksville, Pennsylvania. It's actually really a pair of Pennsylvanians and Gangler out of Illinois. But Rich Jet from Schwanksville, Pennsylvania. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. And we're going to quick see if we can get a hold of Wilco here. Roger Wilco over and out. If I can find him here. And, of course, not. Why bother even having a race chat if you're not going to be in it? Let's see if we can get a hold of Randall Watkins. Hey, Randall, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
I got you, brother.
Hey, brother, man, listen. Going to be a tough night tonight. What are you thinking here for getting... there you are. Getting around Texas Motor Speedway.
Oh, the track been so much cooler than it was the last 2 nights. It should be rather great because setup I got is really stable. I don't think there's going to be any problems tonight other than staying out of trouble.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? Last night we finally saw things come together. I mean, it was kind of contentious for a little bit, but still pretty limited in the caution department last night. It was almost perfect clean on Sunday night. So, tonight you've got many fewer drivers than we have on Sunday or last night. So, I think you might be able to put together a pretty good run here tonight.
I'm certainly hope so, because we definitely need one. Me and the whole team. We've kind of been on the on the wrong end of the goulet stick, and hopefully all of us tonight will have a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I watch some of you guys out here, and it's like, you just catch a bad break every now and then, and of course, to me, I know I'm supposed to be unbiased, but I'm always biased as all hell. But now after this, we're going to have a couple of weeks off. We don't come back to racing until May 7th at Kansas Speedway, so it's going to give you a little bit of time to relax, of course, driving the other two series. But, looking ahead, what do those 2 off weeks mean, as you get ready to go into that next segment of the season?
Do a little more work on the setups. I know that I'm actually looking forward to the 600. I can't wait. That is my track. Charlotte is more or less my home track, and I am really looking forward to it. And the rest of them, I like the speedways, super speedways. Talladega, I'm really looking forward to that. So,
yeah, Talladega is my all-time favorite racetrack. 2.66 miles of hell on earth, and it's exciting. And I can't wait to go there next week in the Cup and Xfinity Series, which sometimes it makes me sad that the trucks don't go there, because I feel like the trucks would be really cool at Talladega.
Oh, they are. I've raced them in other leagues, and the trucks are just you can you can race some fats, you can get a little breakaway going. It all depends on Talladega drivers most of the time, and like you said, it's just total mayhem, more or less.
Well, absolutely. All right, my friend. Well, listen, get yourself all settled in there. We're going to get ready to rock and roll here in the booth. Good luck tonight, brother.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and appreciate it in the booth.
Absolutely. Trust me. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We want to welcome everybody into the youtube.com live chat as I send Randall back on up into the Bandit Racing stable. Of course, all of you at home that make it fun to be here in the broadcast booth, we'll check in with you momentarily. Somebody's got to be pulling for someone in this race tonight. So make sure that you start chatting here in the youtube.com live chat. Let us know who you're pulling for, what you're paying attention to tonight. As Claude Furland, going to be our pole sitter tonight from north of the border. Here he is. Going to be starting on the outside of row number 1 is from Flowery Branch, Georgia, is going to be Jeremy Paris. Ryan Fisher going to be starting on the inside of row number 2, while Anthony Savignano on the outside of row 2. Row 3 going to feature Tane Hoddesdon out of Brunswick, Maine, while Mason Hoffner from Harding, Pennsylvania, going to be starting in row number 3. Row 4 featuring Sylvain Joly from Saint-Eustache, Quebec, as well as Ethan Eckert out of Chicago, Illinois. Randall Watkins, my brother from another mother, out of the Miami-Dade Fire and Rescue Department, down there on the inside of row 5, with Chris Custer from Ohio rounding out your starting top 10. Paul Hill going to be on the inside of row 6 with TJ Handley and Gregory Valade and Matt Mackin here in row 7. Row 8 featuring Gabriel Lafreniere from St. Jude, Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor in the number 75 NC811.org F-150. He'll be starting alongside of Tyler Sexton and Jamie Beasley in row 9. Row 10 features Daniel Moynihan and Richard Pruitt, while Andrew Deemer and Noah Hamilton going to be in row number 11. Row 12 features Ron Fitting and Michael Witt, while Chris Claude, the chief cook and bottle washer of all that is SNN, starts on the inside of row 13 alongside Kavaja Holt out of Waynesboro. Alexander Gangler from Big Rock, Illinois, has the Mountain Dew throwback machine in row 14, and starting shotgun in the field representing the 570 is John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. 29 drivers scheduled to take the green flag tonight as the iRacing.com pace car leads us through turn number 4. It's been an exciting 3 days of racing here at Texas Motor Speedway. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, One more time with the brisket and Alamo beer. Race fans, it's show time! Claude Ferlin getting a good jump over everyone tonight, but not too far away as he's got Jeremy Paris working the high side and the 04 of Ryan Fisher making his debut start tonight in the 04. Just behind all kinds of trucks all over the place as everybody jockeying for position as they come past our camera. A slow start here for many of these drivers as we pull up that speed. 177, we should see them top out a little over 180, closer to 183.4 going into turns 1 and 2. There it is, 184, as Ferlin now gets credit for leading the first lap. Here at race time tonight, track temperature has now dropped down to 69 degrees as we come through here on turn number 3. Now, of course, we have stage racing in these 100% length series here. Stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 40. Stage 2 is at the end of lap number 80. And then, of course, 87 laps to the end, as I'm going to double check all of that information as I don't have a statistician. Yes, sir. 40, 85 tire sets in the event, so they're going to be laying 4 and starting 5. So that's going to put this pit window somewhere in and about that 40 lap, 40 to 55 lap range that we've seen the last couple of weeks now, or the last couple of nights. Now, here's the thing. That 50 lap mark is really tough to get to, especially as you're trying to, increase that fuel mileage. You're trying to save tires. Tonight, though, I don't think tire wear is going to be near the factor that it has been these last several nights as we take a look here at our standings on the left-hand side of the screen with Claude Ferlin leading the way. Oh, a little scrub of the old wall there, but we get back to normal. Here's the thing. These drivers, some of these drivers, such as, your Ethan Eckerts, your Randall Watkins, let's see if I can find anybody else, Kavaja Holt, Matt Mackin, Ron Fitting, Chris Claude, of course, Rich Jett, John Wilco, Michael Witt. These drivers all have multiple nights here this week, Sunday, Monday, and tonight. So they've had a lot of time on the asphalt. But the interesting thing is that changing cars the way that we do from Cup Series to Xfinity and now, of course, here to the C trucks, each of these vehicles is different. So it takes 3 different types of discipline to get through these races. So, I'm always curious to see what goes on with these drivers as we move through the night and how they handle each vehicle differently. Young Cameron here saying, nice, appreciate you. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so that you can be notified every time we go live here on Sim Racing Media. Seven laps in the book so far tonight. Not much doing. I mean, for lack of a better term, we've just had a couple of nights where we've had nothing but side-by-side racing. Here's our first good battle of the evening. Mason Hoffner here in the 30 machine. He looks to, slide right in front of the 34 of Gregory Valade. This all of a sudden becomes a 3-way battle here for 10th position as now Valade in the 34 kind of slides out of the way. That's going to allow Gabriel Lafreniere and Chris Custer to get on by. Now, he suddenly holds up for Custer. He lets Lafreniere and Hoffner on by, but Valade suddenly wants to hold up my man Chris out of Ohio. Not sure what brings that on, but here he is, slowing things down for no reason at all. Further back here in the field, Kavaja Holt trailing Matt Mackin as these two drivers, we're going to see them running side-by-side at some point tonight. I've watched them for the last several years. Speaking of side-by-side, though, my lord, Stoney Benfield working the high side of Daniel Moynihan in the number 53 Dunkin' Donuts Ford F-150. A pair of F-150s just duking it out. Now, Stoney's dropped back a spot since he started this race, back in 16th. He runs in 17th. He's kind of shuffling around between these two spots. Here's the thing. Early on in this race, a lot of these drivers are going to be trying to feel these cars out, try to figure out what they need to do to boogie around here. And quite frankly, Stoney is just in a position now where he can make a couple of adjustments if he has to, but right now he's just kind of riding. 10 laps in, a quarter of the way through stage one, we've got a lot of racing left. And I say that, but the first couple of laps here were sub 30-second laps. I mean, right now, fastest lap of the race goes to 29.75. That's Paul Hill. And it looks like he is the fastest, 29.75, 29.77 out of Claude Furland. $11 laps in the books here, and a good, clean start for many of these drivers. We see Kavaja Holt and Matt Mackin side by side. We're going to ride along with Matt here, as he's going to see Kavaja just to the right-hand side, but right now the two of them are trying to climb up to where Stoney Benfield is, and right now Stoney likes looking here in the rear-view mirror because, at this point, he knows that all he has to do is keep it moving forward, and he can watch these two battle it out all night, and he doesn't have to worry about them. But all of a sudden, wow. Oh, Kavaja hooks Matt Mackin right in front of our very eyes, and that should be a caution. There it is. Oh, my. I can't even believe that we just saw that in real time. And here they go. We're going to look from above. And it looks like Kavaja just got right underneath Matt Mackin. We're going to drop right here to the nose of Kavaja. Oh. And the hardest thing for Matt Mackin, we're going to go to him momentarily here, is, Matt in the 01... Matt in the 01 was kind of minding his own business up here. He didn't really come down. He gets nosed into the wall. What a hard hit. Bang, bang goes the day. And the engine pops almost instantly. Looks like Chris Custer may have been caught up in that. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong one there, but it's either that or Andrew Deemer. Let's take a look. Couldn't really get a good read of who the... Oh. Yeah, that's no way. Let's see if we can get this a little bit better here from Deemer's hood. Now, the interesting thing is Deemer sees the accident. Rather than checking up, he just he gets off the throttle and thought that this was kind of an ill-timed decision. But, he's got to be able to see, as we're going to go slow-mo here, he's got to be able to see this wreck in front of him. He has all kinds of time as he runs right here. Here comes Mackin down the racetrack. You need to be on the binders. You don't need to be just coasting. And they just meet right there at the angle. So caution number 1 of the evening is out here on lap number 14. I know we spent a lot of time reviewing that, but that was a tough one as we're already double filed here. Looks like most of these drivers getting themselves ready to rock and roll. When we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Claude Furlan, Ryan Fisher, Anthony Savignano, Tane Hoddison, Paul Hill, Sylvain Joly, Ethan Eckert, Mason Hoffner, Gabriel Lafreniere, and Chris Custer in the 66. He's going to be rounding out the top 10 once we get back moving here. So a tough break for Matt Mackin and Andrew Deemer. I don't see Kavaja down on pit road, so it looks like he may have come down maybe to just get the damage checked. But Kavaja back out here running in 22nd position, still on the lead lap. And believe it or not, even after being involved in that, Kavaja's still up 3 positions from where he had started back in 26th. $25 drivers on the racetrack right now. It looks like that particular wreck sent 4 of them down pit road. Jamie Beasley, Andrew Deemer, Matt Mackin, of course, and Tyler Sexton in the 35. So Claude Ferlin leads us into turns 3 and 4 just behind the iRacing.com pace car. Ryan Fisher here in the 04 in the Black Cat Chevrolet Silverado. Going to be here on the outside. We'll ride along on the restart here with Ryan Fisher out of Richmond, Virginia. If he doesn't look like a Southerner, I don't know what does. Ferlin drops the loud pedal, and here we go. Savignano sliding past Fisher. Now Fisher deciding that it's time to come back down the racetrack. He's going to go single file here between Tane Hodison and Anthony Savignano. Savignano suddenly wants to challenge Claude Ferlin here for the lead. He does, and Ferlin just kind of cedes the lead away for the time being. You know, you don't want to be cooking your stuff too early, so to speak, so Ferlin may be all fine and dandy as all of a sudden Ryan Fisher here looks to the outside now. Wow! Nearly wrecks the entire field. If he would have caught the front nose of Tane Hodison, that would have been it right there. We're going to take a look at that once again here from the 93's perspective. Here from Tane Hodison. I mean, there was barely an inch of room between himself and Ryan Fisher, as Fisher is now all over the rear tailgate of Savignano here in the number 50. And that Chevrolet Silverado all kinds of cranked up. It's a pair of Chevys, a pair of Toyotas, another Chevy, another Toyota, and then we get two F-150s in a row running in 7th and 8th. So kind of an interesting mix-up here of the manufacturers tonight as we work lap number 18, almost halfway through stage number 1 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Want to welcome all of you in. Make sure that you're here in the YouTube.com live chat. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're watching here. As all of a sudden, Fisher makes the pass here on Savignano on the low side. Savignano obviously has a little bit more of a, he's obviously braking a little earlier, getting into 3 and 4, at least getting off the throttle, so that allows Fisher to drop down in front of him. What that tells me, though, is that Fisher's driving these corners a lot harder than Savignano, so that, in the long run isn't going to work out for Fisher. Savignano going to be saving those tires as we've got 20 to go this time by in stage 1. The 43 and the 6 of Paul Hill getting ready to go at it as we're going to ride along here with Hill. Paul Hill's dash cam just happens to be lined up here as the 43 now slides in behind him. That's Claude Ferlin. And Claude here running right now in 5th position allows Paul Hill to get on by. But, we've seen this multiple times before. These drivers, they kind of let one another go. It's almost like they're toying with one another as we ride along with Jacksonville, Florida's very own Paul Hill. As he hauls it on down here, we look to the left. We see here on the high side, that's Tane Hodison now sliding in behind Hill. And all over Tane Hodison is Claude Ferlin in the 43. Jeremy Paris on a recovery drive here in the 05. He started up in 2nd position. He's now back here in what looks to be 16th position, so he's working his way back on up through the field. Gregory Valade up 3 positions after starting in 13th. Paul Hill up 8 after starting in 11th. Right now, your biggest movers of the night, Alexander Gangler, Paul Hill, and that one just changed, so it's Alexander Gangler and Paul Hill up 7 and 8 positions, respectively. these drivers doing a heck of a job keeping things wound up. We're going to ride along here with Ryan Fisher from his gyro cam. We're going to pull up the dashboard. Of course, we want to know who he is right here. He's got a pretty interesting strategy as we're going to go down the back chute. Nearly holding it wide open here through 3 and 4. You can see he's got a little bit of space there at the end of the throttle, but not very much. Now he's going to come through this long front straightaway through the quad oval. He's wound all the way up to 185, and now he backs out of the throttle. So he's almost able to hold it wide open in 3 and 4 and then back off in 1 and 2. And so far, so good as he leads this piece here on lap number 26. Dave Riegel in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and making us a part of your evening, into your homes and onto your phones and every device that you may be watching. Kip Cook cheering on the 75, the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield. Hey, Kip, it's good to see you again. Glad to have you with us as we work lap number 27 here at Texas Motor Speedway. We're going to step aside and pay the first round of bills here tonight on SRM. I'm Dave Riegel, but don't go away. We're going to go NASCAR side-by-side right here on SRM.
Musker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
my
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway, where we're under caution for the second time this evening, just a few laps shy of the end of stage number 1. Looks like this may have involved Randall Watkins, who we spoke with earlier. We're going to take a look here. As Randall was just being approached by Jeremy Paris, who almost looked like he just kind of pinched him out of there. I got to say, I am not a fan of that move from Jeremy. as Jeremy right now running in 5th position. Let's take a look back here. That was ugly. I mean, there's Randall minding his and leaving everybody else's alone. Jeremy goes to the inside. This one might be hard. Maybe I shouldn't be so upset. I can be as upset as I want. But it looks like Randall goes high, and Jeremy just simply doesn't clear him and drives forward. And right there, it almost looks like Randall was drifting back down again on the racetrack. So, unfortunately, maybe that's just, wrong place at the wrong time for Jeremy Paris. So I do apologize for getting angry right off the bat, but, it is what it is. I can do what I want. Folks will have to forgive me this evening. I'm operating nicotine-free for the first time in, a while. So if I get a little short-tempered, that could be why. But it's all for a good cause. It's all for health. And the fact that I left my vape sitting on my desk at work. It's not like I did this intentionally. Pretty good race so far here tonight at Texas Motor Speedway. Anthony Savignano going to be your race leader when we come back. Green flag racing. Tane Hodison going to be P2. Claude Ferlin in 3. Gabriel Lafreniere in 4th. And Ethan Eckert going to round out your top 5. Sylvain Joly, TJ Hanley, Mason Hoffner, Jeremy Paris, and Gregory Valade going to round out your top 10 as we get ready to go back green flag racing. Randall Watkins shuffled back here to 23rd position. So kind of a tough night for him. It's going to be another long recovery drive for the 27. Chris Claude, after hanging out in the broadcast booth with me last night here covering the MNN Xfinity Series race, he is back on track tonight. And you know what? I could not be more thankful for the companionship up here in the booth last night. Chris and I spent, for those of you that don't know, I spent 3 years on Chris's teams here in this league. And, so we had a lot of time to sit and chat, get to know one another. And then, of course, so you're in that same Discord channel all the time. And then, of course, when I start to move on to the broadcast booth, I'm not sitting there hanging out with Chris a couple of nights a week. And so it was almost like a pair of good old friends just, sitting down and watching a race together, and had a blast last night. Chris is almost a natural broadcaster. He was really good last night. So make sure that you guys, tune in over there on our youtube.com channel here for Sim Racing Media. Should be under the Sunday Night NASCAR Family of Racing Series for last night's Xfinity race right here at Texas Motor Speedway. Second caution of the night here in the Truck Series. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out. That means we'll be going back green flag racing in just a few moments. Savignano going to have control of the field as he's going to have Tane Hodison sitting on the high side. Savignano out of Erie, Colorado in that number 50 Raptor Chevrolet Silverado. It's kind of a cool paint scheme here. In fact, let's see if I can maybe get just a little bit closer. A little dinosaur coming out there in the front. I assume to be a Raptor, if you will. The iRacing.com pace car dives on down pit road. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. As they hit the Geico restart zone, Savignano drops the hammer and we're back underway. Looks like Paul Hill went off track here as we went back green flag racing. We'll see what happened with Paul, as he is just in the midst of all kind of a mess. There's Stoney Benfield coming down. Whoa! Stoney Benfield didn't see Paul Hill here, and that he sends Paul Hill for a ride through the grass. Fortunately, Paul kind of stays out of the way. Stoney had no idea that he was there. Obviously, the spotter called clear, and maybe the spotter was drinking Everclear. That could have been. As we work lap number 39, 2 to go here in stage number 1. A good night so far. Anthony Savignano and Claude Ferland duking it out here for the lead. Looks like Ferland going to be bringing along teammate Gabriel Lafreniere. Is Lafreniere going to duke it out with Ferland? Now, this could slow Ferland down here if Lafreniere tries to put the moves here on Savignano, as he just came up out of nowhere. Now Lafreniere looks to the high side. He's going to take a little bit of a push here from the nose of Claude Ferland, and Ferland trying to defend P3 slides down in front of Tane Hodison. What a great battle. Whoa! Look at Gabriel Lafreniere suddenly trying to battle it out here with Anthony Savignano. Final lap of stage 1, and Lafreniere just threw in an extra can of Go Fast here. Oh my goodness, as we come down to the line, they cross the start-finish line, and as the caution flag flies, Gabriel Lafreniere, your stage 1 winner, as Anthony Savignano was coming to the stage break thinking that he had this thing wrapped up with a pretty little bow on it, and Lafreniere just took an extra sip of Oxmoor beer and called it his own. Hey, Gabriel, it's Dave. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Buddy, listen, congratulations here on the stage 1 win. You just came up there and stole that from Savignano. How are you feeling right now, bud?
Really happy. Not sure my move was clear, but just enough to clear Anthony and take the stage win.
Oh, it was clear. It was just barely clear by, like, you know, it had to be a millimeter. It was so very thin. So congrats here. Now, are you going to make any adjustments to the F-150, or are you just going to drive it like you have it here?
I will try like that another stage and see later.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations on the stage 1 win. 10 bonus points coming to you, and we'll see you on the other side, brother.
Thanks.
So we're going to move him back up in here to the Accent LED race chat. That's Gabriel Lafreniere, our stage 1 winner out of Salju. Of course, we can see all of these different drivers coming down pit road, as now I just got to get a hold of, there it is, the drone cam, as the drone's going to slide around here. Wish that pilot would hurry up. Noah Hamilton, Daniel Moynihan, Paul Hill, Alexander Gangler, and Chris Custer all stayed out as they each came in back on lap number 33. So that's going to shuffle things around here as we get ready to rock and roll for stage number 2. Looks like the lights are still on here on the pace truck, so let's see who we can find to chat with. In fact, let's get a hold of Daniel Moynihan. Hey, Daniel, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Hello?
Hey, Daniel, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
So, for starters, here you are. You're going to be restarting on the outside of row 1. You know, you last came down on lap 33. What's the pit strategy thinking here, you know, to reverse this, as we've got maybe a little bit shorter of a stage this time through?
Well, I mean, if the same thing kind of happens where we have caution just a few laps beforehand, depending on where I'm at on the track, I'll probably do the same thing that I did here. But, you know, if I'm more up front, I'll probably wait till the actual stage break comes to all my pit stops. But for now, I think I'm going to play it by ear. see how everything kind of goes out, or it comes to me. Who knows, man? This is
No, I get it. I mean, you and Hamilton just basically reversed your fortunes here. I mean, you start back in 19th, Hamilton's in 22nd when he starts, and now all of a sudden you're both, up here with Gangler, who started in 27th in relative obscurity, and now all of you guys, this whole literal top 5 is up here ready to rock and roll. I mean, you're probably all going to have to play a little bit of defense to keep the fresh tire brigade from overtaking you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping the track temperature will help the tire wear a little bit, but I mean, it might help the tire wear, but maybe not the tire temperatures. But
yeah, track temp right now all the way down to 69. I mean, if you saw the other races or were in the other races earlier this week, in the Xfinity and the Cup Series, I mean, we had temps of like 125, and that was okay for them for a little while. And it was like melting tires off. So to see 69 degrees tonight is refreshing, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I'd say so, man. Yeah, those tires must have been turning back into crude oil or something.
It was bad. I mean, like, the one tire temp that I saw, the one asphalt temp that I saw was like 124, 125 in the sim, and I'm like, they're liquid. They're just out there just rubbing liquid into the asphalt.
Oh my God.
But
man.
You get a nice cool 69 tonight. So good luck the rest of the way, brother. It looks like the iRacing.com pace car lights are out, so maybe we'll see you on the other side, see if the strategy pays off.
Yes, sir. I hope so.
Alrighty, that of course the voice of Boston, Massachusetts' very own Daniel Moynihan in the number 53 Dunkin' Donuts Ford F-150. We don't hate him because he's from Boston. We don't even have a baseball team in that division. Noah Hamilton going to have control of the field when we go back green flag racing, as we're going to ride along here on the nose of Daniel Moynihan. A little bit more camera time for the Duncan 53. Next stage going to be at lap number 80, so about 35 to go here in stage 2 at the line. As Moynihan looks to his left, we can see exactly where Noah Hamilton is. Hamilton drops the hammer, and we go back green flag racing for stage 2. Perfect shifting coming up through the gears from Moynihan as he creepily looks on from his SDK driver image. Back at you here at home. Paul Hill in the number 6. He's going to be looking back here at Moynihan. And, Hill out of Jacksonville, we can see this whole field still side by side through here. So these drivers not ready to give anything up, almost as usual at this point in the race. As we look back here, Kavaja Holt, who was involved earlier in that mess with Matt Mackin, he's got himself crawled up here into 8th position, now 9th, as he's doing side-by-side battle with Claude Furland. As suddenly we're about to go 3 wide with Gangler, the meat in the middle. There it is. Holy Christmas, nobody breathed, nobody fart. This could be all. Oh, there it is! Oh. What in the world were we doing here, gentlemen? I don't want to be Judgy McJudgerson, but let's slow this down here. You had no business being 3 wide with 2/3 of the race left to go. This is what you get from No Nicotine Dave tonight. We watched Gangler here, 3 wide. He has no way to back out of this, so that's going to set up the 06 to, the 06 just has to watch where the chips fall. So almost as collateral damage, he catches the 43 of Claude Furland. Hey, if the 06 would have been able to back out of there, and let's see if he really had a place to try to get out and leave Gangler in, which he really didn't. Gangler needed desperately to try to get ahead of, you know, each of these drivers I hear Gangler on the radio right now. You're wrong. You came up. He didn't come down. Here, let's, just in case nobody got the memo this time, let's see if we can go on down here to the chopper cam, and we'll run this in super slow-mo. Here we go, Gangler. Now watch Claude. He's up here in the high side. He shifts lanes a little bit, but look who's coming up the racetrack this entire time. Look at that. That wasn't Claude. So easy there, big fella. And now the nose drops off the 8 machine. And there it goes. $50 laps in the books. It's going to be a long night if we have more 3-wide situations like that for no reason. So we take a look here at the youtube.com live chat. Yes, Ahmed Altaf. Number 6 is Frenchie. Yes, Ahmed Altaf. The 06 is the Oxmoor 06, driven by Gabriel Lafreniere. No, I don't think we're watching. I don't think we're watching 2 different races, Gangler. We might be. Without nicotine, I'm sitting here sweating, testy, grumpy. Testy and grumpy, those are 2 of the new 7 dwarfs. Paul Hill here in the number 6 Chevrolet Silverado. He leads Noah Hamilton, Chris Custer, Ryan Fisher, Anthony Savignano, the top 5 here as we get ready to go back. Green flag, great racing. The iRacing.com pace car light's still on, so let's see if we can get a hold of anybody out here. Actually, I do want to get a hold of Anthony Savignano. Hey, Anthony, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? Hey, Anthony, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me? Yep.
Hello?
Well, that's not going to get you screen time. As we work caution number 4. Of course, the 3rd caution for cause here at Texas Motor Speedway. Dave Regal with you here in the Sim Racing Media broadcast booth. Working lap number 51. We're going to step aside and pay some bills here on SRM as you're watching the Tuesday Night NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler, or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway. As Paul Hill took off like a shot from a cannon, we want to take one quick look here at Ryan Fisher here on the restart, because it sounds like he may have jumped the restart, or he may have changed lanes. We're going to take a quick peek here. Watch the 04, that's that blue and purple truck here on the high side. And we get into the Geico restart zone, and actually he changes lanes. He pushed his way across Savignano's nose before they hit the start-finish line. And Savignano wisely got out of the way, but you can clearly say that he dropped down in front of Savignano before the start-finish line. Paul Hill, Chris Custer, and Ryan Fisher. 1, 2, 3 they go. Savignano's playing with fire. Ryan Fisher is a man who's sitting here trying to debate whether or not to take a penalty per the league rules. And if I was Savignano, I would stay as far away, as it looks like Ryan Fisher is going to take the black flag as he gets here onto pit road to serve that. I'm not near as much of a cool, calm, and collected race car driver as Ryan was right there, so a tip of the helmet to him. Paul Hill leading Chris Custer from Ohio and Anthony Savignano in the 50 machine. 1, 2, 3 they go. And, you know, here's the thing. Paul Hill and Chris Custer each came down on lap 33. They've got 9 lap older tires than Savignano, and they're still able to hold their own. Savignano starting to slowly creep his way back up here into the lead. But these drivers that stayed out, it looks like Custer, Hamilton, Daniel Moynihan, they're all out here driving very defensively, keeping their hopes alive in stage 2. Whoa! Custer just got shot up the racetrack. Not sure what happened there. Let's take a peek. Here's Custer working the high side of the 84. The 84, oh, they might contact. Noah Hamilton does with Chris Custer, but no harm, no foul. We keep it pushing. And looks like Hamilton lets Custer on back past. Probably the more polite thing to do, since you did just accidentally bump into him. Very gentlemanlike, as Kavaja Holt suddenly going to have to be dealing with Chris Custer here in the 66. Custer just driving like a man on a mission. Whoa! Fishtailing down the back chute. They get around Anthony Savignano. So now Chris Custer trailing Kavaja Holt, as Kavaja's got about 0.4 of a second, nearly a half second, up here to Daniel Moynihan, where they're about to battle it out for the lead. We see Jeremy Paris here in the 05, challenging the 53 of Daniel Moynihan. And now Paris going to tuck in just behind Moynihan. These drivers might want to stick together just a little bit as Kavaja Holt now gets on past Paris. I mean, look, they both have equal time tires. I don't understand why Paris can't use some of that extra grip and get up here unless he's really trying to be that good with saving. 20 to go now, 19 at the line here in stage 2. Chris Custer just behind Jeremy Paris, the 66 and the 05 getting ready to duke it out down the back chute. We can see Custer tucking in, but Jeremy Paris with a full head of steam coming at the rear tailgate of Kavaja Holt. And it looks like he's actually going to maybe draft Kavaja along. They're going to push their way past Daniel Moynihan in the 53. That leaves Moynihan out to dry on the high side. The 66 of Custer slamming the door shut, taking away the opportunity for Moynihan to slide down. Now, once again, Moynihan can get between these two drivers, the 05 and the 66. He just about does, as now Jeremy Paris abandons Moynihan. Moynihan's going to try to draft behind him and bring himself closer to Kavaja Holt, but Holt slides in front, throws the block right in front of Moynihan here on lap 64. Anthony Savignano and Mason Hoffner, door handle to door handle. Neither driver giving each other any room as they nearly exchange paint here on the backstretch. Now Moynihan going to have to let Eckert drive on by in the Verizon 5G LTE F-150. Belisson. And Sylvain Joly, it looks like Sylvain Joly and the 66 of Chris Custer are running similar lines. They moved out almost identically in time to one another down to the low side of the track to try to slingshot their way out toward the outer wall. And as Chris Custer chases Moynihan down the back chute, he's going to nose his way just underneath that left quarter panel, and now going to have to try to hook his little red wagon, or his little black and orange wagon, to the rear bumper of Kavaja Holt and try to get Kavaja to give him an arrow tow, if you will, here at Texas Motor Speedway. 66 laps in the books. We're just about at 100 to go. Dave Riegel in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth with you as always. Want to welcome everybody to the YouTube.com live chat. Young Camel agreeing with me. Dcash Videos, that's of course Alexander Gangler. He disagrees with me. I'm not here to make the call, but I was watching the race. I saw some stuff going on. That's how that works. Daniel Moynihan closing in on the rear tailgate of Chris Custer now. Custer running in 4th position. This is a battle for 4th position. You can pretty much throw a blanket over that top 3, and just as I say that, Chris Custer peels back the curtains, and now he looks to suddenly get in here and battle it out with Kavaja Holt. He just closed that gap to a 1/4 of a second between himself and Holt is not satisfied with P3 right now. It's pretty early in this race yet, with 68 laps in the books. But, you're looking at, you're looking at stage 2, you're looking at those bonus points. That's fine, I get that. But by the same token, you need to look at this time and think, do I want to win the stage or do I want to win the race? Which is it going to be? Just trying to get us a little bit of a closer camera angle here. Stoney gets across the nose of the 66. Hey, Kavaja, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me.
I got you, buddy.
Buddy, listen, you fought your way up 26 positions tonight. Came down on 42. You know, of course, you had to fight through some of these guys that thought they were going to stay out on the old tires. How's the 00 feeling tonight?
It's feeling really good, man. If we can get a long run here, I believe I got a little bit for him, but we'll see how it works out. Got into the 6th there. That was I got in a whole lot harder than he did and got into him. But other than that, it's been pretty good. So hopefully it keeps going that way.
Yeah, it's been a good race so far. I mean, you know, I'm always watching you and a couple of the other guys that have been in this league for a long time. What's going to be the strategy is, you know, now we're going to get pretty deep into stage 3 here.
I think it's
stage 2 here.
Taking tires at the right time. That's the thing, man. It's we don't have very many sets, so we got to save them and be the right one to take the last set.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way. Don't jump the restart like I saw Fisher did earlier. So, of course, I saw him come down across the nose of Savignano. So, good luck here as we get into the later time of the race, and maybe we'll see you on the other side.
Sure hope so, buddy. I'm not very good at starting on P2 on the restarts. We'll see how it goes here.
Hey, I get it. Good luck, man.
All right, thank you, man.
Going to be about 7 laps to go when we come by this time. Of course, the iRacing.com pace car light's still on, so we're looking to see if we can get a hold of anybody else here for a quick visit. In fact, let's get a hold of Chris Custer. Hey, Chris, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, Dave. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Listen, tough break there with Stoney a minute ago. You know, I thought we were going to keep moving forward, but, you know, bad things happen at the worst time. How are you feeling there in the 66?
Yeah, you know, we had a really good run with the Grease Monkey 66, and, you know, we actually had 3 teammates up in the top 5 there for a couple of minutes, and I'm not sure exactly what the 75 was thinking, stuffing it up the middle, and there was a checkup, but, you know, it is what it is, one of those deals. 2 cars trying to occupy the same space didn't quite work.
No, it never does, but... You know, racing's racing. I mean, you know, obviously you've had a couple of good runs the last couple of weeks, you know, and sometimes you catch a bad break here and there. But we get 2 weeks to kind of cool down, reset again. You know, the truck schedule to me is just so goofy because it's you run 2 weeks, you're off 3 weeks, you know. So what are you thinking during the off weeks, you know, here in the trucks?
You know, we're gonna work as a team on you know, trying to prep for the next race and you know, focus on Xfinity and Cup as well, and hopefully come back strong.
All right, man. Well, listen, sorry about your luck sitting down there on pit road, but I'm sure you'll still be there cheering the teammates that you got going on out there. So good luck, my friend.
Absolutely, thank you.
That, of course, the Grease Monkey Motorsports driver, the number 66, Chris Custer, unfortunately sitting down here on pit road as we send him back on up into the race chat. Looks like we should have green flag racing momentarily. Jeremy Paris has control of the field. Paris hits the restart zone, drops the hammer, gets bumped by Tane Hodgson, and finally gets underway. Oh my. Now watch the 08 just come up and give a little love tap to the 6 and just shoves the 6 along. I'm not sure if he was intentional or if maybe he looked up and all of a sudden the 6 was there, but 3 wide goes Anthony Savignano as he's got Ethan Eckert on the low side, Sylvain Joly on the high side. We haven't seen 3 wide work very well tonight, as wisely he backs out and allows Ethan Eckert to go ahead and drive off with 9th position for the time being. Side by side, though, goes Savignano in the 84 of Noah Hamilton. All but 3. Oh, there it goes. Here comes Savignano coming across the racetrack. The 08 just collects him. Boom goes the proverbial dynamite as he hits the 77 of Rich Jett. And right in front of our very eyes once again comes caution number 6. That's going to wrap up stage number 2 here. Jeremy Paris, I think I can make the call safely here. Going to be our stage 2 winner. Tane Hodgson finishes P2. Kavaja Holt, Daniel Moynihan, TJ Hanley, Paul Hill, Mason Hoffner, Gregory Valade, Ethan Eckert, and Noah Hamilton, who just narrowly missed that incident there, as we're going to go all the way back to Savignano for this one. Narrowly missing disaster was Hamilton. That's probably one of the best things about knowing Chris Claude as well as I do. You know, I know when he's about to make that call. So here's Savignano. Wow. This might be our ugly friend Netcode, and sometimes Netcode shows up to the party and just stinks it all up. I'm looking to see here if Savignano makes contact. They do. Never mind. Not Netcode. They make contact. The 08 spins Savignano. Then Savignano runs into the 35. That's Tyler Sexton. Sexton kind of shoves him out of the way. And then all of a sudden, way up here and kind of minding his own business is Rich Jett in the 77. And here's Jett behind Tyler Sexton. He can see this mess starting to break loose. He sees it. He goes high, and Rich Jett's like, oh, I'm clear. Oh, wow, I got through it. No, I didn't. As Sylvain Joly comes down the racetrack, I mean, that has got to be the most sickening feeling when you feel like you just got through the entire wreck and then somehow get popped right as you're coming on the very final, inches of the debris field, so to speak. Hey, Jeremy, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yes, sir, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, good win here at the end of stage 2. I mean, kind of a wild finish to the end of the stage. Now we've got another 80-plus laps to go here for stage 3. What's going to be the strategy moving forward here for the man in black?
I just hope it goes green, Dave. That's all we need.
I mean, look, I think a lot of these drivers, I'm looking through the field here and seeing wow, that was a weird pit entrance. I'm seeing what a lot of these drivers have done. Some mistakes have been made, feelings have been hurt, but nobody's lives have been lost. So, I think you guys that are running up toward the front, this is going to be where it's at. The rest of the mess is pretty much taken care of at this point.
Yeah, I got some damage there really early in the race, not paying attention and running into the wall off of 4 that can't be fixed. So we're down on aero a little bit, but we're going to give it a shot.
All right, man. Well, listen, congratulations on the Stage 2 win. Before we cut you loose and you go back Green Flag Racing, anybody you need to shout out tonight?
No, we need to put some stickers on the side of this thing.
I said that last week. Didn't you hear me?
I did.
I'm trying to get... Listen, I will drum up anybody at this point.
I understand. Hey, I appreciate you doing this, Dave.
Hey, listen, man. This is absolutely my favorite 3 nights of the week when I work Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and I get to watch you guys out here because this is some of the best racing on iRacing, you know, especially up here in this, like, top 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, it is. It's real good being open set, and I will say the only one that has to work harder than you is Chris. I do not know how he runs all 3 of these races.
He actually has that thing from Spider-Man, that Dr. Octopus thing in his spine, and he uses 8 hands while he drives.
Yeah, he must.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully we can get some stickers here on the 05 for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Dave.
All right, yes, we're going to move him back on up into... you're in the Joe Gibbs stable, yes? No? Nope, there he goes. Bounces back out, does Jeremy Parison. You know, he's not wrong. Chris Claude is like the hardest working man in show business. I mean, you know, he's got to pay attention not only to his driving and his racecraft, but at the same time, he's got to be thinking about rules. He's got to be thinking about decisions, you know, at-fault penalties, things like that, all while he's still trying to be a successful driver. And right now, Chris running in 10th position. I'm going to quick try to grab him. Hey, Chris, it's Dave. You got me?
Yeah, I've got you.
Well, listen, man, first off, I want to say thank you again for hanging out last night. I had a blast. It was just such a good time hanging out with you, watching the Xfinity race. And now tonight, here we are in the Truck Series. Jeremy Parrish just said it, and it's something that I don't think enough people understand. You're like the busiest man in show business back here. You've got to race, make calls on the fly, penalties, and the whole 9 yards. How do you do it here in the number 10?
It's not as easy tonight. Me being the only admin, there's been a couple of times where I've had to sacrifice the drive for taking care of what needs to be taken care of. We had a black flag penalty for someone who switched lanes before the start-finish line. So, you know, it's been a little rougher than I would have liked tonight. But I'm hoping that this third stage that we can settle in and not have any more breaks to the end.
Well, we can keep our fingers crossed. I mean, we had a heck of a race last night that you got to hang out here in the booth for. We had a great race on Sunday night in the Cup Series, and you know, it seems to clean itself up here in Stage 3, and then, you know, toward the end of 3, once those patients, those guys with the tempers flaring and the patience running thin, that's when we might see some more fireworks here.
I'm sure. It's probably not over. I just hope that we can get near the end before it starts to erupt.
Well, and I do want to thank you again for hanging out the way that you did last night. I had an absolute blast chilling with you, you know, here in the broadcast booth, especially on a Monday because I never really get to work with anybody on a Monday.
Yeah, it was fun watching it back today, and yeah, I enjoyed it, and I'll certainly do it again if I get the chance. But I suspect that for the most part,
you don't want to get the chance that way, though.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get the chance that way. For some other reason, then I will.
All right, well, listen, you're about to go back green flag racing, so strap up and good luck here in Stage 3.
Thanks, Dave.
That, of course, the voice of the great Chris Claude, the chief cook and bottle washer here, or as Matt Metler calls him, the HMFIC, which means the head mother fudger in charge. I can say that, I think. That's not one of the 7 words I can't say on the air. As Ethan Eckert jumps out ahead of Jeremy Parris like a bullet out of a gun, and we go back green flag racing. Eckert now leads Parris by about 13/10 of a second here. We've got Gregory Vallad working the high side. Vallad in the 34 now swings to the inside. He's going to be just underneath Mason Hoffner as Hoffner leads the 34 and the 84 of Noah Hamilton and Gregory Vallad. Now those two green, the 34 and the 84, they managed to swing on by Vallad, or Hoffner, and now they put their sights on TJ Hanley. Suddenly they are 2 drivers on a mission, and they are linked up nose to tail like nobody's business. TJ Hanley just behind Daniel Moynihan. Looks back here. He can see the 34 of Gregory Valade just absolutely ready to harass him as they come through 3 and 4 here on lap number 84. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth with you here tonight in the Tuesday Night NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series live on Sim Racing Media. I want to thank everybody for making us a part of your evening. If you haven't done so already, first off, why haven't you? Make sure that you're subscribed to Sim Racing Media. That way you can be notified every time we go live. We've got 6 nights of racing on this channel. I mean, for crying out loud, there's got to be something you can find and be entertained by. And if you can't, then why are you here in the first place? Ethan Eckert looks to the low side. He's shoved along by Kavaja Holt. Kavaja, he's looking all over the place. And I'll tell you what Kavaja's looking for. He's looking for trouble. If he's not careful here, he's got Jeremy Paris running in P4 just behind him. And now Kavaja's starting to close back in on Ethan Eckert running in P2. Chris Custer just pulls off of the pits after he was damaged a few moments ago, and now Kavaja starting to close back in on the tailgate of Ethan Eckert. Kavaja Holt looks to the, whoa, nearly catches Eckert. Oh, I wasn't ready to, I was ready to get off of that camera angle, but nearly caught Ethan Eckert's tailgate once again. Throw a blank over to the top, over the top 4. They've got 1.25 seconds between themselves and Moynihan in 5th position. Next closest battle here is Mason Hoffner. Suddenly this is turning into a disaster waiting to happen. I already hate the diamond pattern, and now we're going to turn this 3 wide with Paul Hill in the middle. He's going to separate Valade and Hamilton as they now go all but 4 wide with the 83 of TJ Hanley squirting just ahead of him. The 6 is in the middle of a 5-car pack. He suddenly gets into some disturbed air. He is all over the racetrack. And at this point, I'm not sure if he thinks that he's on a racetrack or he's doing crack, because this is crazy right now. As he has decided to get himself, there he goes. He came down out of being crazy for a minute, but Gregory Valade suddenly wants to bring along Noah Hamilton. We see Hamilton here in the 84. He wants to consider making it 3 wide, and once again, here comes Paul Hill. It's like Paul Hill can't get enough of this mess here, as they're all but 3 wide once again. Hill getting loose coming into 1 and 2. He's being pushed along by Mason Hoffner in the 30. And all of a sudden, we're looking more like checkers and wreckers as they go 3 wide down the backstretch, the 84, 34, and 83. And TJ Hanley has got to be, this is Code Brown all over the place, as he is holding his own between Hamilton. Woo! Hey! Between Hamilton and Valade. He swings down off the high side toward the front of Valade. He's going to be the victor here eventually. But Valade and Hamilton right now just too strong to hold off, as Hanley and Hoffner now kind of leave Paul Hill, who just loved being in this mess, back here in 10th position. Wisely, all of a sudden, Ron Fitting gets out of the way. That leaves the door open for the 04 of Ryan Fisher, down a pair of laps, 3 as a matter of fact. He's still got a pretty good chance to get those back if they come in quick enough, if the cautions come in quick enough succession. And we've got 92 laps in the books, working our way toward 167. And I didn't want to click that one. There we go. We're watching the 84 of Noah Hamilton get around TJ Hanley and put Gregory Valade back in his sights. We can see all of this from the tailgate of Valade, nearly bumping into one another as the 83 and the 84. Looks like Valade out of Attleboro, Massachusetts, having a little connection issue here. So let's look at it from Hanley's perspective as we're able to rotate Hanley's camera. Celebrating 2,300 plus favorites on Trading Paint, so he must be one heck of an artist. But TJ Hanley here drifting right in front of the 84 of Hamilton. The 34 is blinking bad. He's going to need to do something about that. Gregory Vallon in the 34, unfortunately having some connection issues to the main server, so he's going to slide back a few slots. Mason Hoffner in the 30 chases down Noah Hamilton. As Hamilton in the 84 now, all by his lonesome. He just had a great partner in the 34 of Gregory Vallon. But now Vallon had to sacrifice himself due to connection issues and slide way back through the standings. Now, I see Brandon Minto in our YouTube.com live chat, but I don't see him out here on the racetrack, so not sure where that number 12 macaroni and cheese, that Kraft mac and cheese truck is, but I don't see him. I wish I did tonight, though. As Mason Hoffner here in the 30 and the 84 now, with Hamilton in the 84, they slide behind TJ Hanley, who now has secured third position. Still 1.2 seconds between Daniel Moynihan and Jeremy Paris. I'm sorry, between Daniel Moynihan and TJ Hanley. The top five are all running literally 0.4 of a second from first to fifth. And these guys are not done yet. Watch this as they're getting ready to make that diamond formation once again here. The 93 of Tane Hodison. He works just underneath the man in black. That's the 05 of Jeremy Paris. Paris, a great driver, able to hold his own. He's still chasing down Ethan Eckert. It's almost like what he's got to focus on is getting around Tane Hodison and allowing, Hodison to use up that material on those tires, and then he can put his sights on the 11 of Ethan Eckert. If you try to fight a war on two fronts, the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to lose. $99 laps in the books tonight. Whoa! And these drivers still making great time here. 30.76 seconds for Kavaja Holt on his last lap. We're going to take a quick peek here at the lap times. And, Kavaja Holt, our race leader, he's still here leading the way and making Eckert look slower and slower every lap that ticks on by. Watching Tane Hodison kind of play yo-yo here with Jeremy Paris, and now Daniel Moynihan starting to drift back just a little further from TJ Hanley, or from Jeremy Paris. Now TJ Hanley chasing down Daniel Moynihan. He's got Chris Custer on the high side. Hanley wants to try to get a piece of that top five. He still sees another position available for the taking, as we are 65 laps to the end here this time by. Kavaja Holt, Ethan Eckert, Jeremy Paris, Tane Hodison, and Daniel Moynihan, your top five. TJ Hanley, Mason Hoffner, Noah Hamilton, Gabriel Lafreniere, and Rich Jett, your top 10. As we have crossed the century mark here, and we're on lap 103 at Texas Motor Speedway. I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. Of course, the voice of all that is Sunday Night NASCAR and the Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing series. Of course, we are in prime time on Sunday nights for Cup Series action. once again in prime time on Mondays and Tuesdays for Xfinity and Trucks. And if you like hanging out with me, we'll do it 3 nights a week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. As Kavaja Holt leads the way over the man in black, Jeremy Paris, who now gets his way around Ethan Eckert. Let's take a peek here at what that pass for P2 looked like. And we can see Paris just gets here on the low side, gives Eckert just enough space, but then knows that Eckert's gonna wind up having to check up here with the 43 over top. So Paris just dives in underneath and executes the pass perfectly for P2. Another close battle here. Daniel Moynihan suddenly having to battle it out with Tane Hodison. As we look from Hodison's perspective, we can see Moynihan here in the 53, and Hodison trying his best right now, maybe trying a little too hard to get on by Moynihan. And I say too hard because what we see more often than not at this place is that, you beat up a little bit of what you think is a little bit of your equipment to get on by somebody, and next thing you know, you wind up realizing that you've cooked your tires to death. And speaking of cooking tires to death, we take a quick peek at the track temperature, 70 degrees. So it's only up 1 degree since, the green flag flew. But yesterday and Sunday, we had temperatures in the 120s and healthily into the 120s, not just, flirting with the idea. I mean, they were beyond flirting with those temperatures. And with 60 laps to go this time by, we're going to pay some bills here at Sim Racing Media. One final time as we get ready for the last segment of this race. I'm Dave Regal, this is Sim Racing Media, and you're watching the Tuesday Night NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As That's still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh my
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
So hi, my name's Christy. I am a wife, a mother of 3 children. I am a sister and an aunt of lots of nieces and nephews, and I'm also a substitute teacher. So my everyday life changed by going to appointments, a lot of appointments, a lot of scans. During the treatment, my body just got weaker, so I wasn't as active with my children and with my husband. So I was laying on the couch a lot more. I'm an active person, and so that just didn't sit well with me, but that's how it changed. My body was just weaker, and I couldn't do the things that I used to do. So there was a lady in where I live from a local church who had heard that I had breast cancer, and she sent me a letter just reaching out for support, and she actually said that she's the one that told me about Trisha's Hope and that I should contact them, so I did. So specifically, I wasn't able to really work during my treatment or anything like that, so the grant that I was able to get helped me pay my bills, provide gas money. I was driving to and from treatments, and so it helped a lot with bills and everything.
I would just say I am so grateful for Trisha's Hope and for all the people that have donated, because I don't know what I would have done without them.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic, real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Texas Motor Speedway, where caution number 7 is just about to be completed here. As Ethan Eckert going to be your race leader, he'll be followed by Jeremy Paris. Oh, never mind. It looks like Paris is going to be on the inside of row number 1. I wish he and Eckert would just line up and get it over with. Kavaja Holt, Tane Hodison, Daniel Moynihan, Noah Hamilton, Mason Hoffner, Rich Jett, Gregory Valade, and Paul Hill all going to be in the top 10 as we're just about 48 laps to go here in this piece. So about the length of another stage plus a few. As Jeremy Paris comes out of turn number 4, the man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. He hits the Geico restart zone, drops the hammer, and off he goes. $120 laps in the books, and side by side goes Kavaja Holt and Ethan Eckert. Now Kavaja's here, he's working the low side of Ethan, and all of a sudden they just want to get the hammer and tongs out. We're going to get a chance to look here from Kavaja's perspective over at Ethan. They bump, they rub, they bump, they rub, they bump a little bit more. And Kavaja Holt comes out the victor. He's going to take P2. Randall Watkins registering as having crashed. Let's see what's going on here from the rear of Kavaja Holt, because now all of a sudden he's got all kinds of traffic behind him. Daniel Moynihan and Ethan Eckert now going single file as Noah Hamilton looks like he wants to try to come up this this low side here. He's hooked on the rear bumper of Tane Hodison. 121 laps in the books tonight. Dave Regal with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to welcome everyone in to the YouTube.com live chat. Brandon Minto, the Air Force made me fly today, just got home and you only on like lap 55. I'm sorry. Oh, that's a shame, Brandon. Well, Daniel, we appreciate the kind words, and our hearts go to you because, you know, I know how rough it is to have to, go through that with an animal, as we are under caution number 8. Might have been a blown engine here from the 27. Looks like Kavaja Holt and Gregory Valade showing his crash, but long after. Oh. Kavaja gets turned by Ethan Eckert. And, oh! What in the world was Valade doing? he didn't even slow down. Like, apparently this is just what you do here? Let's ride along with Gregory Vallad, who had just an absolute hell of a lot of steam coming out of 4. Now we're going to watch Kavaja hold here off in the distance coming out of the quad oval. We can see Kavaja sideways, down on the low side, and for whatever reason, Vallad just hammers him. I mean, there was no reason. Everybody knew where he was on the racetrack. Well, let's watch this at quarter speed. Now, we can see here on the left-hand side of your screen, maybe a little obstructed by the Oxmoor 06 F-150 here. That's Gabriel Lafreniere. But rather than stay high, Vallad chooses to go low and doesn't even go low per se. He takes this middle lane and just annihilates poor Kavaja Holt. My God. Well, I guess we all know that if you get in a wreck in Attleboro, Massachusetts, get the hell out of the way if Vallad is near you. I am not sure if we are still running the stream. I've got to check here from another device because it looks like an error occurred on my playback here on the computer. And I do see it still running here in the normal feed, so I guess we got away with that one. Somehow it stopped working here in the YouTube studio online. The iRacing.com pace car lights are out. We're about 40 laps to go this time by when the green flag flies again. It's going to be Jeremy Paris, Ethan Eckert, Tane Hodison. I almost said Bobby Moynihan, but that's Daniel Moynihan. Bobby Moynihan, of course, from Saturday Night Live. Noah Hamilton, Paul Hill, Mason Hoffner, Sylvain Joly, Gabriel Lafreniere, and Rich Jett, your top 10 here with what will be 40 laps to go. Jeremy Paris, the man in black, still looking for a sponsor for that race truck. And I got to be honest, he is worth every penny if you decide to get him on in there and maybe paint that 05 for him. iRacing.com pace car beating us out of turn number 4 one more time here. Jeremy Paris with a good restart here on 1:28:40 to go, as he's going to go Paris, Eckert, Hodison, Moynihan, your top four. And Moynihan looking here to the high side of Hodison, as we can see right here from the Duncan 53 machine. He's looking for any kind of opportunity to get around Hodison and crawl his way onto the podium, because, you know, at this stage in the race, everybody coming in on 116 here in the top. It looks like about 11. Looks like 12th John Wilco came in on 117. Then Chris Claude, Richard Pruitt, and Ron Fitting out here in the freshest tires. They each came down on 124 and 125. So that's all of the lead lap cars for the time being. You know, just 15 on the lead lap. Gangler would be your lucky dog should we have another caution before the end of this race, as Ethan Eckert just rocketed past Jeremy Paris. Paris goes single file and decides that he's not going to try to duke this one out bare-fisted. He's just going to kind of wait it out. He's going to draft up once again to the very back bumper here of the 11 of Ethan Eckert. And this is where he's just going to hook on to. That's going to put some distance between them and Tane Hodison, who's now starting to trail Eckert by 1/4 of a second. And 3/10 of a second and more back to Moynihan. So right now, the 93 of Tane Hodison kind of in a dangerous spot, at least, you know, positionally here on the racetrack. Ethan Eckert leads the way here on lap 132, about a little bit more than 1/10 of a second ahead of Jeremy Paris, as Jeremy Paris and Tane Hodison are basically locking down that podium for the time being. Paul Hill looking from the outside in here in the 6 machine. He's kind of in a safe spot, but just behind him, that's where some of the mayhem is breaking out. Let's look at the 04. Now, this is Ryan Fisher, who had a rough time earlier on tonight, as Fisher, still down about 3 laps here, is now running once again up here with the leaders. He had to take the penalty for changing lanes before the start-finish line earlier on tonight. So, you know, he wound up losing a lap, and of course that's when bad things start to happen to you. You know, so here he is, though, proving himself still to be worthy of running up here with the leaders, as he would technically be, you know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth truck in line, so to speak, as he's giving a good, healthy shove to Paul Hill in the 6, as they run their way here through turn 2 and down the back chute. Ethan Eckert controlling the field something fierce here as we come through the start-finish line area. All of a sudden, things starting to get a little dicey here up front, as we've suddenly got a 4-way battle for the lead. Ethan Eckert now being challenged by Tane Hodison. Paul Hill, who just a moment ago was kind of riding along and relaxing, he's suddenly trying to go side by side with Jeremy Paris. We look from the eye in the sky, and Paul Hill works the low side now of Jeremy Paris. He gets under here. He kind of wedges his way under. He thinks he's going to go 2 for 1 and take Hodison too. That's not happening. So don't get greedy here, because one bad mistake and it's all over for you, as the 04 of Ryan Fisher out of Richmond, Virginia, now pushes the 6 of Paul Hill. He kind of boxes in Jeremy Paris. Sort of an interesting move if you really think about it, as the 6 and the 04 going at it hot and heavy right now, as the 6 of Paul Hill bringing the 04 of Ryan along. It seems like, you know, obviously they're working together, and they're working together very well. Of course, Ryan Fisher from the Grease Monkey Motorsports stable. So both of them, Ryan Fisher, both of them teammates from Grease Monkey Motorsports, and they are making some hay tonight. So the 04 just being a really good teammate, all but pushing his teammate in the 6 up here to the lead. Nice little 12-lap green flag run here as Paul Hill is being pushed to the front by his teammate. 3 laps down, Ryan Fisher. I want to make sure that I have that lap count correct. I don't want to say 3, it happens to be 2. Nope, Fisher is down 3 laps by my math and timing and scoring. So, unfortunately for him, the night is kind of sideways. But, right now, this is called being a good teammate. Take some notes, folks. As we work lap 140, Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. We've gone over the century mark for the third night in a row. Always a good thing here on SRM. I want to thank everybody for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones and however else you may be watching us here tonight. And, I could not be more excited to sit here in this booth and be the voice of Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series action, because when I say action, we want action. ACT, the 6th truck of Paul Hill, looks to the inside of Ethan Eckert as they are now almost touching coming down the back chute. Paul Hill and Ethan Eckert lead the way, and this is exactly what being a good teammate is. Oh, okay, that was we're going to run right back here and look at this, because I'm not saying that was dirty, but I'm saying Ryan Fisher really managed. Of course, we go behind there. Nah. Let's see if I can get this from the rear here of Ethan Eckert. We see Eckert here. That's really hard to judge, but Ethan Eckert just got lifted by the 04 of Ryan Fisher. So maybe Fisher just trying to be a good teammate and give some breathing room to teammate Paul Hill. But right now he is playing defense, and listen, offense may sell tickets, but defense wins championships, and that's what, the 04 right now of Ryan Fisher is doing for his teammate Paul Hill, just protecting his rear. Let's take a look here from the gearbox of Paul Hill. He's got a rear view mirror full of his teammate, the 04, and the 05 of Jeremy Paris. Now, Paris here, the man in black, he's still looking for a sponsor out there, folks, so maybe we could work on that tonight if he tries to pick up the dub here. Now Paul Hill starting to build his lead. He's just got to try to get himself away from Jeremy Paris. It's just, that's almost impossible as we work our way through lap 145 of 167, closing in on that 20 to go mark. And you have to wonder if Ethan Eckert is about to return the favor to the 04 from just moments ago. Here's the Black Cat Racing 04, and Eckert just getting ever so close to him. All of this while Jeremy Paris is working ahead of him. I guess, for lack of a better term, Eckert has decided to let the 04 live for the time being. But believe you me, if somebody lifted me like that out of the lead for my teammate, I would not be happy with them. And if you're down 3 laps, you've got nothing to lose anyway. Take him out. It happens. Daniel Moynihan running in P6 right now here in the 53 machine. He's still up 13 spots from where he was. He started back in 19th. I mean, it's still a big day here for him on the racetrack. However, Rich Jett and John Wilco each up 19 positions, and now 20 for Rich Jett. So obviously, starting back in 29th for Wilco and just slightly beyond that in 28th for Jet still has really benefited them. Those trucks are both very clean. I mean, I don't see a whole lot of mess in and around them. So, you know, they might be the smartest drivers on the racetrack tonight. Jeremy Paris, the man in black, takes the lead back. We're going to see this pass for the lead that Jeremy Paris had to lay down on Paul Hill. Paris sees the door open underneath Hill coming down the backstretch. He knows that that's how he's got to get this done. He goes side by side with Hill, and as they go into 3, he just absolutely shoves it down there into the corner. That puts Hill between Paris and the 11 of Ethan Eckert, and that's how we run right now. Paris, Hill, and Eckert 1, 2, 3 with 18 laps to go. The 04 gets into the 11 again. A little payback from the 11 into the 6 as he is now between the two teammates of the 04 and the 6. Ryan Fisher out of Richmond, Virginia, battling it out door handle to door handle down the front stretch. He's down 3 laps, but he's here trying to vie for his teammate. And his teammate, Paul Hill, in the 6, he's all over the tailgate of the 11. So now we've got to figure out whether or not the 6 is going to try to parallel park between the Oxymore 06 of Gabriel Lafreniere and his teammate, Sylvain Joly. There's all kinds of teammate work going on up here, and nobody seems to be able to figure it out. The only thing we can tell right now is that while this mess is developing back here, Jeremy Paris has now extended his lead to just about a full second as we come across the line with 15 laps to go. Ethan Eckert ahead of Paul Hill, and now Gabriel Lafreniere. He's got the 04 of Ryan Fisher now fading back in line, so things might calm down as the 04 decides he's going to go back here and just kind of chill for a little while. Never mind, just kidding. He's not going to chill. He's going to go help Paul Hill as Paul Hill runs in P3. The question is, how high does he want to go? Does Fisher push Hill around the 11? Or does the 11 suddenly make his F-150 4 wide? And uncomfortably close is Paul Hill to the 11. We can see this right here. We look over here at Ethan Eckert nearly making contact, but we still stay clean. It's still good. It's still good. Meanwhile, we know that the 04 of Ryan Fisher is literally right back there. We know that he's there. They almost make contact. We come out of turn 4 with the 04 shoving the 11 and the 6 ahead. Now he's defending for both of them. It's almost like he's figured out which battle he wants to protect that involves his teammate, and now he's going to basically form a wall to defend these two and let them go at it without being pestered by Gabriel Lafreniere or Daniel Moynihan. Jeremy Paris, Paul Hill, and Ethan Eckert. 1, 2, 3 they go. Daniel Moynihan looking from the outside in. He's got Gabriel Lafreniere running in P5. But Jeremy Paris has now opened up a 1.01 second lead over Paul Hill. This is actually the biggest gap between the leader and P2 that we've had all night long. As we look further back here, exchanging positions left and right. And now, of course, they just blink out of that way. Here we go. Exchanging positions left and right. This little 5-car pack once again. Ethan Eckert in P3, Daniel Moynihan, Sylvain Joly, Gabriel Lafreniere, and Noah Hamilton in the 84. All of these drivers, you know, they've got to figure out how to get these things single filed out as we're 11 laps to go, and Jeremy Paris is running away like he stole this thing in the 05. Paul Hill and Ethan Eckert running P2 and P3. And they're not separated by any small margin either. It's 0.8 of a second between Hill and Eckert, and 1.4 seconds from the leader, back to Eckert. So there's a lot of distance suddenly growing. A lot of our timing and scoring has all gone, white and yellow instead of orange and red. So that means that some of these drivers have either decided that this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to bring it home running. I'm going to bring it home, with maybe that top 10. Of course, John Wilco defending that right now out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. It's only a 3-block long town, but I know where it is, and it's a we'll call it suburban Hazleton. And if you don't know where Hazleton is, you're probably lucky anyway. The 49 of Jamie Beasley letting the leaders on by. That's just being, a good sport. I mean, he's not up here like Ryan Fisher was playing defense. But at the same time, what Fisher did to kind of protect Eckert and Hill, to allow his teammate Hill to battle it out with Eckert. I mean, he basically organized the top 3 for us with 8 laps to go now here at Texas Motor Speedway. Dave Regal in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth with us. I want to thank everybody for making us a part of your evening. Thank you for coming, welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, however you may be listening, wherever you may be. I want to thank you for being part of our family here at SRM. And the 108 of you that have hung out with us tonight, we appreciate you as well. Maybe in 2 weeks when we come back and go to Kansas, maybe, y'all can invite 1 or 2 friends. If one person invites 2 friends, now you've got 3, and so on and so forth. Get as many eyeballs on this stuff as you can. And speaking of eyeballs on this stuff, Daniel Moynihan has his eyeballs on the prize balls as he is here in the 53 now getting around Ethan Eckert. They're suddenly going to start duking it out. Ethan Eckert hauling it out of turn 4. 5 laps to go, 4 at the line. This time by as Jeremy Paris is building this lead ever more over Paul Hill and Ethan Eckert. Ethan Eckert just has no choice but to look from behind. There's a lot of real estate between himself and Jeremy Paris. I mean, he would need what Jeremy Paris would consider to be an unfortunate caution and what Ethan Eckert would consider to be a miracle caution. Now with 4 to go at the line. The 06 Oxmoor F-150 and Daniel Moynihan split the 11, and all of a sudden Moynihan goes up here into P3. Now they're going to fight it out. Paris and Hill have P1 and P2 locked down. Jeremy Paris is all but walking. Wow, I was kidding. Here we are, suddenly a battle for the lead. I wish I could be watching 2 things at once. Paul Hill being pushed up here by his teammate in the 04 to try to get around Jeremy Paris for the lead as they are now single file going down the back chute with 3 to go. Meanwhile, just behind him, side by side, is Daniel Moynihan and Gabriel Lafreniere in the 06 Oxmoor F-150. Moynihan trying to hold off Lafreniere. They're both fighting for podium positions now, as with 2 laps to go, the popsicle sticks go in the air, and Paul Hill is trying to serve lunch to Jeremy Paris. Paul Hill needs a push from his partner in the 04. That's Ryan Fisher out of Richmond, Virginia. As we see a good bump draft here coming out of 2. Fisher's got to try to get up here and give one more shove to the 6 as Jeremy Paris hauls it down here into 3 and 4. They're at a dead heat here for the battle for 3rd position. One blink of the eye, and it's the Oxmoor 06. The next blink of the eye, it's Duncan. Right now, Gabriel Lafreniere and Daniel Moynihan are putting on one heck of a show while Paul Hill looks to get around Jeremy Paris. The popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air. We're racing back to checkers, hauling it down the backstretch one more time. As Jeremy Paris and Paul Hill lead us down the back chute, we are not going to miss this opportunity here as it looks like Paul Hill going to be able to, or I'm sorry, Jeremy Paris. They nearly touched. They come across the line. Oh, my. I don't even know who might have finished this in third. This is so close. We're going to go right here. Jeremy Paris wins the event here, as we're going to just see. Let's see. Hold on. Let's run this back. Now we'll go quarter speed. Gabriel Lafreniere just nearly edging Daniel Moynihan. Gabriel Lafreniere just nearly edging Daniel Moynihan out of the way. In fact, we'll see if we can do this one more time for you folks so you can see it. Right there.
Yes, sir. Good to hear from you again, Dave. Yeah, he was coming pretty strong there. I mean, that damage was killing me. I couldn't get away from people.
Yeah, I mean, the aero package here at Texas is incredible. And I mean, the battle that you had to wage with, because really you weren't just trying to hold off Hill, but he had his teammate, basically shoving him behind you and really giving you a run for your money in the 05.
Yeah, they were doing what they had to do there. His teammate was really fast, so they played the game right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to strategize, at least strategize for winning. And, you were able to hold them off in tonight, of course, we've had more grip in the racetrack than any other time over the last 3 nights. So to me, that's exciting because it keeps some of the competition even tighter and, it limits the cautions here. But we've got a couple of weeks off and then we come back at Kansas. What are you thinking about as, of course, the Truck Series has these weird built-in, 2 and 3 week off weeks.
That's good. I can go to the lake with the family instead of sitting up here and grinding at Kansas.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congrats once again here on the win at Texas Motor Speedway, one of my favorite racetracks. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to tip your helmet to for this run tonight?
Yeah, I just think the teammates and the old crew chief worked pretty hard on this set. So we'll try again at Kansas.
All right, brother. Congratulations. Next up here tonight on the podium is Mr. Paul Hill in the 6 machine. Hey, Paul, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yes, sir, I do. How are you?
I'm good. Listen, you had the perfect strategy here for the end of this piece. The teammate pushing you there in the form of Ryan Fisher, and he was basically running defense between, Moynihan and everybody else to keep you guys up there in the top 3. How does that feel looking in the rearview mirror knowing that you are secure?
So, honestly, he was trying to get his lap back, and he was getting annoyed with me because he got that black flag for jumping the start. He's new. This is his first race, actually, so he did not realize that rule. He didn't catch that rule in the rule book. So, trial by fire, he kind of learned it the hard way. So he was trying to get around one time and then hopefully get himself in the lucky dog position. So I was trying to fight him off, honestly. I mean, we definitely race each other more respectfully than, being teammates and all, but he was honestly trying to get around me. So it was actually kind of a handful. He was giving me an earful, especially when I took the lead, but I wasn't going to just let him walk by.
So, in other words, what you're saying is what we saw up here in the broadcast booth, no matter how great it looked and how it looked like teamwork, was actually just more frustrating than anything. It was the opposite of what it was down there.
Oh yeah, we were. It was friendly competition. We weren't going to wreck
Yeah.
each other, but he definitely wanted around me. He was getting a little annoyed, but I was afraid of letting him by when I did have the lead. I still finished second, so maybe I should have. But I was afraid if I let him by. Yes, sir.
It's still a great performance here at Texas Motor Speedway. We've got 2 weeks off now coming up. So what are you thinking about as, maybe take a week off and then that next week prepare for Kansas, or what are you thinking as we stay on the 1.5-mile circuits?
I love Kansas. It's one of my favorite tracks. It's one of the few tracks I've actually been to in person. So I'm really looking forward to going out there and running that track. Definitely going to focus a little bit on the Sunday night races too, but shift focus in that second week, like you said, and get a couple laps in and get ready for that.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, congratulations tonight. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and tip your helmet to?
Well, I need to thank the boys over at Grease Monkey again. They've been a great help and a great, entry into this league. And I actually want to thank you. I know sometimes you guys get a hard time in the chats, but we really appreciate what you do. Your broadcast is great. And I want to thank you for doing it week in and week out.
Hey, I appreciate the kind words. I mean, we're always trying to grow here at Sim Racing Media. And, we appreciate the good racing that brings the eyeballs to us here. So it's kind of a symbiotic relationship. So congrats, my friend. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks over at Kansas.
Sounds great. Look forward to it.
And last but certainly not least out of Saint-Jude, going to be Gabriel Lafreniere in the 06 Oxmoor F-150. Hey, Gabriel, it's Dave. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Buddy, listen, a strong run tonight for the 06. I mean, you came up 12 positions after starting in 15th, and we're really duking it out with Daniel Moynihan. I wasn't sure who was going to win that battle here at the very end of the race.
The last 4 laps really close, side by side, few inch at the finish. So close finish.
Yeah, it was a really close finish, and I mean, that's what racing should be, and watching you guys go at it the way you were was exciting up here in the broadcast booth. I wasn't sure who was going to come out, and then I had to slow it down a couple of times, and, of course, timing and scoring tells me, but it's still interesting to see just how close you guys were. But, before we get out of here tonight, we've got 2 off weeks and then Kansas. How do you feel about going into Kansas after such a long layoff?
Not sure about the track. I will do a lot of practice, try to be at my best with a good setup, and we will see what we can do.
All right, buddy, before we get out of here, who do you need to shout out tonight?
Thanks to you, the broadcast, Chris Claude for the league, the organization, and my teammate Sylvain and Claude. They did a great job tonight, and Oxmoor for the beer.
Always the beer, my friend. Always the beer. All right, brother.
Always.
Listen, congratulations. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks, Dave. Good night.
Good night. As Gabriel Lafreniere finishes in P3 tonight, and I'll tell you what, I have yet to get to Canada and get a hold of this Canadian beer, but I got to try it. So if anybody knows where I can find me some Oxmoor beer, you just send it my way here. And before we get out of here tonight, we want to, of course, take one final look at our race results. I nearly thought it was about to tell me that Chris Claude finished the race ahead of everyone else, but all of a sudden, this thing wants to get all kinds of confused. There it goes. Jeremy Paris captures the checkered flag here at Texas Motor Speedway. He's joined by Paul Hill and Gabriel Lafreniere on the podium. Daniel Moynihan and Sylvain Joly make up the rest of your top 5, while Ethan Eckert, Rich Jett, Noah Hamilton, Mason Hoffner, and John Wilco round out your top 10. Ron Fitting and Chris Claude bring home 11th and 12th, while Richard Pruitt comes home 13th. 14th and 15th go to Tyler Sexton and Alexander Gangler, respectively, as Claude Furland, teammate of Gabriel Lafreniere, our winner tonight, comes home in 16th position. Ryan Fisher, after a strong beginning to this race, catches a bad break and changes lanes early, goes down a couple of laps and winds up finishing 17th. Tane Hodison brings the 93 home in 18th position, while Ohio's Chris Custer comes home in 19th. 20th, and rounding out the top 20 goes to Andrew Deemer. As we move that along, Andrew Deemer comes home in 20th, with Jamie Beasley and Kavaja Holt in 21st and 22nd. Gregory Valade, after a strong night tonight, comes home in 23rd, unfortunately, as TJ Hanley, also wrapped up in a mess there, comes home in 24th. Randall Watkins, Mr. 305, comes home in 25th tonight, while Matt Mackin, Michael Witt, Anthony Savignano, and the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, comes home in the final spot tonight here at Texas Motor Speedway. So for everybody here at Sim Racing Media, I want to thank all of you for making us a part of your evening, welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, and no matter how you may be listening to us, we want to just thank you and let you know that we appreciate you, spending time with us every night, especially the 3 nights of SNN with me here on the call. And I appreciate all of the kind words and, of course, the friendship and the camaraderie that we share here on iRacing.com. So once again, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.